He loves it when foreign leaders call him tough. And he never stops boasting about how he took on North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un. Listen to this.
People said, he's going to get us into a war. Remember they were screaming?
Yes, my nuclear button is bigger than
this. That's
yours.
right. I said, yeah, he talked about the button, right? He said about the button on my desk. I said, my button's bigger than yours and my button works. So, stuff like that.
That was a snippet from the 8 hours of tape that journalist Bob Woodward released featuring his conversations with Donald Trump. Now, Trump clearly boasted about his negotiating tactics with Kim Jong Un after, by the way, escalating the possibility of nuclear war with North Korea. But nonetheless, the tapes are, I'm just gonna tell you what I really think. More of the same. Mm-hmm. That's what the tapes tell us. More of the same. Mm-hmm. Aside from showing Bob Woodward classified documents that he wasn't supposed to show him, and then literally telling Woodward, look at this, but don't tell anyone I'm showing you. Yeah. There's really no new revelation here other than a continuation, more reinforcement for the notion that Trump was honestly a terrible leader, but thinks very highly of himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's important because it potentially could come up in the document scandal. Mm-hmm. I mean, if he's demonstrating at that point that he knows that these are classified when he's stealing them, I don't think that should be necessary to indict him, but maybe it could play into it. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's mostly, it's who he is. Yes,
he was really proud of that whole button exchange, like real proud. Like, yeah, you see what I said about the button?
Yeah, and thank you for not getting us into a nuclear war. I mean, Obama was able to avoid that for 8 years and he didn't have to do the whole thing with the button for some reason. It seems like it was unnecessary in hindsight. Yeah, other than that, it's mostly more of the same. Reminder, as we were talking about in the last segment, if you've sort of forgotten for some reason who Trump is since he lost the 2020 election, yes, he loves dictators, he hates democracy, he's a fan of strongmen, authoritarians. That's what it is. And if he becomes president again, he will work in that direction. Now, he will never be as good in pursuing those goals as some other right-wingers because as awful as he is equally lazy. He's just terribly unmotivated in pursuing his actual goals, other than the most shallow, vain goals. But to the extent that he can move us in that direction, encouraging candidates at other levels who will be perfectly fine with the end of democracy, putting judges into place who are going to support people like him, those are areas where he can do a lot of damage. And this is a reminder that that's one area where he is very well positioned to do that damage.
And while it seems as though people like Tulsi Gabbard and I don't know, some portion of people still posing to be on the left give Trump a pass on his foreign policy. His foreign policy was abysmal. I mean, expansion of Obama's drone war to the point where so many like innocent civilians were being killed by those drone attacks that his White House just stopped reporting on it entirely.
It is very weird that people who in particular had always been responsible in focusing on the deaths to drone strikes decided for 4 years that that was no longer a thing that should be talked about.
All of a sudden, doesn't matter.
It is weird how that worked out.
Very weird.
I personally think that drone strikes are terrible under both Democrats and Republicans. That makes me a weirdo, I suppose.
Yes.
And yeah, I guess his foreign policy could have been worse in some ways. He could have started wholly new wars, but he continued all the wars we were in. He didn't pull us out of Afghanistan like Biden did, another thing that you're not supposed to mention. He locked down massive weapons sales to Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Like in fact, supporting the war in Yemen. Like he's bad, he's really bad.
Congress, which can't agree on most things, right? Because of the way it's all set up and because of the polarization between both parties. They agreed to pulling the US out of any involvement in the Saudi-led war against Yemen. They're like, we want nothing to do with it. This is terrible. The famine, people like innocent people are dying. We don't want anything to do with it. That resolution was vetoed by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the one who took the Iran nuclear deal, which had all sorts of checks in place, which made sure that Iran wasn't developing nuclear weapons. He took it and he ripped it up. He ripped it up. That led to Iran eventually like enriching uranium again. It's just, anyway.
He was bad. He's really
awful.
bad.
His foreign policy was trash.
Was he as bad as George W. Bush specifically in foreign policy? No, probably not, I suppose. Some of the dictator stuff, but no, probably not. But he's also absolute, utter trash. And it's weird for you to give him a pass on that.
Absolutely. Now, I wanna go to the clip that I had referenced earlier regarding the sharing documents with Bob Woodward that he shouldn't have been sharing with him because they were, classified. So let's watch.
You hear him handing them over to Bob Woodward in real time and listen to what he says.
Nobody else has them, but I want you to treat them with respect. I
understand.
And don't say I gave them to you, okay?
Okay.
But I think it's okay. Normally, I wasn't going to give them to Bob, Would you make a photostat of them or something?
No, I dictated them into a tape recorder.
Really?
Yes.
But you know what? You know what? He's a guy who usually doesn't have to suffer any consequences for anything he does. Even actual criminal acts, like he doesn't suffer any consequences. So like that sense of entitlement, like he's being recorded. He knows he's being recorded.
Yeah, I mean,
there is a recording device there. He knows it. It's not like Bob Woodward is like, keep it cool, it's my iPhone, do not. No. Trump knew. He's like, but don't tell anybody. Okay, don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Because he knows that this came out. We all know it, we just heard it. I would be shocked if this led to, you think he's gonna really suffer any criminal charges, even for the classified documents issue? No, I don't think he is. I don't. I know it's wrong. I think we live in a disgusting two-tier justice system where people who are elite, people in positions of power get away with murder, literally in some cases.
Yeah.
And he knows it. That's why he was transparent and candid when he said, I can kill someone, shoot someone on 5th Avenue.
And then tell Bob Woodward about it.
And then tell Bob Woodward about it on tape.
Yeah.
And everyone in the country will hear it. And Congress will be like, the DOJ, we don't know if we're gonna do any criminal charges here. We're getting close to the 2024 presidential election. We don't really wanna put our thumb on the scale, you know what I mean?
Yeah, should we really pursue charges this close to the 2028 Olympics? I don't know, it can be considered to be biased. That update today is just so frustrating.
Yeah.
He stole the documents, and then when you came and got documents, he kept some, and then when you came again and got documents, he kept more. How many times does this guy have to steal these things for you to do something about it? Honestly, I'm glad that the tape came out because it's him demonstrating that he knows that these were classified. I don't know what's in those letters. I also would be perfectly fine with them not being classified and him showing them Bob Woodward. I don't, what's in the letters? Come on, who cares, honestly? The letters, those letters I don't care about, I'm not interested in.
I know, but like how many whistleblowers were put in solitary confinement for sharing classified documents with journalists? Come on.
Those were peasants and they don't matter. He is a golden god.
Right.
And the law cannot touch him, no prison can hold him. That's just the truth. Everybody knows that he broke the law. It just generally does not matter.
All these chuds online who are pretending to care about WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, right? The ones that are constantly badgering us to do like endless stories about WikiLeaks as if that's the only thing that exists in the news cycle, which by the way, we are supportive of Julian Assange, like supportive.
And you talk about it very frequently.
Yeah, we talk about it frequently. But anyway, the ones who are pretending to care about that issue, right? How are you not furious that Julian Assange is, they're fighting like hell to extradite him in the United States and probably kill him in solitary confinement. But Trump gets a pass?
Yeah.
That story's not important to you? You think that double standard's okay?
Particularly if you think that the elites getting away with murder is a bad thing in a general sense, how would apply that to the actual elite, like Trump, a literal billionaire, the former president of the United States, who gets to break the law routinely in a way that would result in you immediately going to jail?
It's just sick. That's the thing about that whole investigation that makes me sick to my stomach. Just knowing what we know about people like Edward Snowden, people like Chelsea Manning, knowing what they went through because they allegedly, they mishandled classified documents. They threatened national security as a result, which is complete and utter BS. But when it comes to Trump, who had multiple opportunities to just hand over the documents. Bro, it's gonna be all right, just give us the documents.
They tried to save him so many times.
Give us the documents and we'll leave you alone. He wouldn't do it.
No.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. It is amazing